Well, what's up everybody? I hope you all had a good week, and if you're new here, I hope you're having a good time as well. Things are going very nicely. The channel is seeing quite a lot of growth. So I decided that I'd sit down this week and do something a little different. I'm going to discuss my 6-year-ish body transformation, dating back from when I first probably picked up a dumbbell, which was around 2015, 2016. To start off with, I thought it'd be necessary to show you this. Now, hold on to your seats because believe it or not, that is actually me. This was me at about 12 years old. I had just experienced quite a severe leg break. Technically didn't break my leg, I kind of half tore a ligament. But because of the surgery and things like that, I had been bedbound for like 3 months. I was getting little to no physical exercise. I was eating quite a lot of food, as you can tell. It's pretty obvious. So, getting to where I am today, right off the bat, it looks like a considerable journey is ahead of us. Step number one was quite obviously to get rid of all that weight. So fast forward a year and a half later, this is me on my first day of secondary school. I'm about 13 years old here. I've no idea why I look so short. I literally look about 4'11" in this picture. I had no idea I was that short in secondary school. But as you can tell, I'm quite trimmed down. I'm quite a skinny kid going into secondary school, and the reason for that is after my leg injury, I'd start developing a bit of a passion for football. You know, I got into football quite late. A lot of kids get into it when they're like 4 or 5. I got into it when I was 12. Nevertheless, like I played it every single day. Like after 6th class that summer, every single day I was out playing football in the hot weather, running around, sweating. So that's the reason why I was able to lose so much weight in that period of time. And from this point, this is where I'll start laying the foundations of my muscular physique, my muscular build. From what I can remember from secondary school, especially in the early days, I definitely had my inspirations for lads that had developed quite nice physiques. I remember back in the day, Joe Weller used to be so hench. Like, I remember being about 14 years old and I just remember so vividly. It's like his 20,000 subscriber special that he did with his friend Theo Baker, who's actually a big YouTuber these days, but back then he was known as Malfoy. They were doing an arm wrestling thing, and I'm pretty like he still had like a long sleeve Chelsea jersey on, but I remember just looking at his arms and I was like, that boy is wham. Here we go, boys. 2016. This is when shit started getting real. Okay, I just bought my first set of dumbbells out of Argos. It went from 1 kilo dumbbells to 4.5 kg dumbbells. Here is a dumbbell from that particular set. It's only a 2 kg one. I haven't got the 4.5 kg dumbbells. But I remember for about a week straight, I would do hundreds of reps with these dumbbells. Hundreds of reps of arm curls or bicep curls. Hundreds of reps of dumbbell chest press. This was in the height of the Mike Chang era on fitness YouTube. But I remember going into PE. I had my little short sleeve polo that we had for PE in school, and it had gotten a bit small on me because as a 13, 14 year old, you're growing rapidly. But I just remember my arms were bursting out of this polo shirt. I just remember the reaction of everybody in my class back then, and they were all just so baffled by the size of my arms. And as a result of that, I got my first invitation to the gym. After about 3 or 4 months of first joining the gym, I took this photo of myself, and from what you can see of my upper body, I'm really starting to lay the foundations of muscular growth. My abs are starting to show a tiny little bit, my biceps are starting to develop, and my chest is beginning to develop also. Here's another photo from a similar time, and as you can tell, my shoulders are growing significantly. The overall shape of me is really starting to grow, and at this time I was following somewhat of a split. I was training chest, legs, arms and back, and because of the arbitrary arm session, I wasn't able to hit each body part twice a week. like you typically should. Nonetheless, I was really able to take my physique off the ground and begin to hit my stride a bit. Right, this is me sort of pushing the extent of my newbie gains. And here we have another topless selfie and yet another black and white filter. I have no idea why I was so obsessed with the black and white filter back in the day, but as you can tell, my physique has come a significantly long way from the last picture. And the reason for this is because for my 16th birthday, I was able to join a new gym. Previously, I was training at a gym that a lot of people go to just to get a sweat going. So I've made that leap from a commercial gym to a lot more of a serious gym where the type of people that train there are competitive powerlifters, competitive bodybuilders. And as a result of this, when I joined, I was urged to get a training program developed and spend at least a month's worth of time training one-to-one with a coach. And as you can tell, my physique benefited greatly from this. Basically everywhere on my upper body is showing signs of significant growth. Like, I'm pretty much in impeccable shape here, especially for a 16-year-old. My abs are really starting to pop. My chest has significantly developed, and my arms just in general look insane. Like the shoulders, there's even starting to become a bit of separation from the tricep and the bicep, and the veins are starting to make a bit of a presence as well. I think it's necessary to mention as well that at this time, and for more or less the entirety of the time I've spent training in the gym, how I've eaten, alright, I pretty much eat whatever I want, but subconsciously I make sure to get a high amount of protein into my diet and as a result I was able to achieve a physique like this. So from this point things begin to plateau a little bit. The overall size of me changes very little, and it's more detail oriented things that start to become brought out a bit more, such as, you know, the shape of my chest and the amount of muscle that I'm able to hold on to at a certain level of body fat, like considering how lean I'm able to get. My legs have always been a stubborn part of my body in terms of muscle growth. And here we have the closest thing to a picture of my legs over the entirety of my 4 or 5 year body transformation. All right, and from what you can see here, my quad, it looks like quite a big quad. Hamstrings don't really look like anything impressive, but you know, my quad looks quite big. But if you were to look at the rest of my leg, right, unless I pulled my shorts up quite high and tensed, you would be able to see quite visibly all the muscles in my leg. All right, they are developed because of my frame. I'm quite tall and a little bit slimmer looking. My legs just have never gotten to the stage where they just look real dense and muscular, but they've always been quite strong. Since that period of newbie gains and significant growth, I have plateaued a lot since then, and my physique has more or less changed very little. But there was a stage in around 2019 where I was just being very irresponsible with my diet and training. Here's one picture here that is as a result of really mistreating and abusing my diet and training. I was smoking quite a lot as well back then, because this is when I started college. So I was smoking and drinking quite a lot. I was just really mistreating my body, and as a result I ended up looking like this. Yeah, this is, for me to look at this, it's very shameful. All right, I'm really not in decent shape whatsoever. You know, my chest has developed quite a bit of fat, and my stomach as well. You can even see it on my arms. Just things are just not looking very good for my physique. I got into the worst shape I have been in since I was probably about 12 years old. Close to 2 years ago at this stage. But on the way home from the holiday, I picked up this book. On the way home from the holiday in Murcia, I picked up Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. And at this period of time, I'd left college and I didn't know what I was doing myself. I wasn't going down a very promising path, but I picked up this book and I read it on the flight home. After reading it, I was just so motivated to get my life back in order. I brought myself to the extent of like abusing and mistreating my diet and training and everything else in my life, to the point where I couldn't live like that any longer. So I got home, and that week I really started getting my shit together. I started eating super clean. I started training really heavy. I was doing a lot of walking and doing a lot of work on the Stairmaster, and within about 2 weeks I managed to get into this sort of shape. And as you can tell, I look a lot better here. I am super lean here. I am easily in the best shape of my life up until this point. And for as much as I was abusing my diet and I was doing things that I shouldn't have, like smoking and drinking excessively, alright, I did try and go to the gym as much as I could, and I maintained a certain level of consistency with training. So underneath all those layers of body fat, I had an elite natural physique under there. So that was around the end of 2019, and we are all quite aware of what went down in 2020, and this is the sort of shape I was able to maintain around the lockdowns. Still arguably the best shape that I'd been in. Like, I wasn't doing absolutely nothing during the lockdown. I was still doing what I could to maintain everything that I had. And this all leads us to this point exactly, present day. And this is the most recent picture of my physique there is to date. And what I understand from looking at this picture, I'm definitely still very lean. You know, I'm quite satisfied with how lean I am. But at the same time, I'm trying to develop my size a bit, because I haven't pushed the extent of the size that I can get to since I started training. So yes, I'm lean, but I don't look hollow, and my training reflects that as well. So if gyms can remain open and I can keep training and doing my thing, we can come to expect some exciting things out of my physique this year. So that's more or less it. I just thought it'd be interesting to document to everybody the progression I've made in my physique from when I was 12 years old to today. I don't think a lot of people would have expected to see me look like that as a 12-year-old. I hope everybody that is watching this video gained some sort of value from watching it. I know I talked about myself for the entirety of it, but if you can relate it to yourself, or maybe you've taken a little bit of inspiration from seeing my journey, then my content has fulfilled its purpose for the week. And that's the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you're a new viewer here, feel free to like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. Turn the bell notifications on, because I upload a video every single week. Thanks again. See you next time.